Hello there, Maverick Currency traders. This is Rob Reinhold. It's September 16th, the day before the Fed meeting. Let's jump into it. In this session, we're going to go through the news of the day. We did some decent news and we had some decent movement today. And I'm really going to be talking about what to do after the Fed meeting as far as trading opportunities go.
All trades and analysis in this video are intended for professional traders only. This content does not constitute financial advice and is for educational purposes. This video is being released after a short delay due to Compliance Department review. Maverick members receive this content immediately as part of their daily trading resources. If you're ready to level up, consider joining Maverick Currencies. Our traders trade firm capital and keep 70 to 80% of profits. You bring the skill, we provide the backing. Let's get into today's market recap and see how the pros are trading the currency markets.
This was the day before the Fed meeting. We all know that usually we get a little bit less volatility. I got to say, today was actually a really good trading day in the Forex market, not so much in the crypto market. But let's go through all the news of the day. First off, we got the claimant count change out of the UK was higher, meaning there's more people filing for unemployment benefits, which is a negative. We saw the pound suffer a little bit. But then we had this amazing report out of the German ZEW sentiment. It surged. It was supposed to be at like 25. It came out at 37, basically saying that Germany's doing great. The euro took off. The franc took off. Everything looked great. We got some Canadian CPI that was slightly worse than expected. We do hear from the Bank of Canada tomorrow morning as well with the FOMC. And then we got some US reports. Retail sales surged. The core was up 0.7%. The expectations were for 0.4%. This is a really strong number showing that the consumer in America is still spending and it's still going strong. What did that mean in the Forex market? Well, big moves in dollar pairs with euro and Swiss franc. So euro dollar, dollar Swiss franc, those were the best trading pairs of the day. You can see everything else was not great. Not great. The yen was okay, but if you were trying to trade any of these, not great moves. And unless you paired them against euro or dollar, you didn't make much as far as pips go. Yen went up a little bit, but I'm really watching dollar yen be negatively correlated. I'm also watching dollar euro be negatively correlated as well. It seems like if the dollar goes down, these two go up, and when the dollar goes up, those two go down. So good correlations going on as far as those currencies. What happened in the rest of the markets? Well, equities were flat. Do not be surprised at that. They're probably going to be flat tomorrow going into the report at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Crypto, 0.68%. That's basically flat. Gold, flat. Oil had a jump up, but guess what? It was down 2% the day before. So basically flat across the board. In cryptos, Bitcoin was the strongest, back up to about 117,000. So nice bounce off that 108 area. We'll see where it can go. But the rest of them, again, really flat. This is overall a very flat day, and it's not a surprise being the day before the Fed meeting. The Forex market moved more than I expected, but everything else actually moved as I expected. Let's take a look at the S&P. There's not a whole lot to talk about. We've had a nice run off this pullback. We've got virtually like 2.5 weeks of up movement. And take a look at this up movement. Green candles and then red candles. Green candles, look at the gaps. There's lots of gaps happening, which is why this has gone higher. There's really only been one big day where there's been a surge of buying. Everything else is a gap. And a gap and fade, gap and fade. Today was a gap and fade, but it doesn't matter. The futures are running up every single morning, and it's causing this market to rise. Yes, we might get a pullback. We'll see what happens tomorrow, but equities are absolutely in a bull market at this moment. We talked about what we got over the last little bit. Let's talk about what's on the schedule going forward. We get CPI out of the UK tomorrow morning, and then we get Bank of Canada. So 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time, Bank of Canada. They are expected to cut by 25 basis points. That is baked into the CAD. Whatever they say in the statement is going to make a difference. At 2 p.m. Eastern Time, we have the Fed also supposed to cut 25 basis points. There's basically a 100% chance of a 25% basis cut, and about an 8% chance of a 50% basis cut. I think we're going to get 25. The big question is, what do they say about it? Is this a one and done cut? If it's a one and done cut, I think the market has overdone it, meaning the dollar has probably fallen a little bit too hard and the equities have probably run a little bit too high. If it's one and done, I think the dollar firms up. I think gold goes down, and I think equities go down a bit. Not a lot, but just a bit. If the Fed says there's a possibility of more rate cuts to come, it's the same as we've seen. We're going to see dollar continue to fall. We're going to see euro strengthen. We're going to see Swiss franc strengthen, and we're going to see gold probably make new all-time highs. So big reports tomorrow morning. That's why I don't really like any trades tonight in either the Asian session or the European session, because there's going to be a lot of volatility after, and we typically get lower volatility going into those announcements. If you're not looking to play any of those, we got news both out of the Aussie and the Kiwi tomorrow night with GDP and employment change. So if you are looking to play those, make sure you know there's news. I'm not looking to play those because the price action in them right now is not telling me that they're playable. All right, let's go in and check out some of the charts. All right, we're going to start off with the dollar. You can see the dollar is falling here. Big fall here. And again, this has been over a space of 2 to 3 days. Big fall, likely hitting close to bottom. You can see we're starting to get some dojis down here. That doesn't mean we'll bounce because we got some dojis here. It just meant a base before the next fall. Look, either a base or a rally higher. That's what I think is likely to happen to the dollar. We'll see what happens. To me, I'm not loving the dollar here. Yen had been in a big downtrend here for the last week or two, and then all of a sudden we're now starting to see a rising EMA here. A little bit early, I'm not saying go long yen. It's just, for me, not interested. Swiss franc got tons of strength here. Euro, tons of strength as well. What I'm looking for is pullbacks. Pullbacks and bases to buy into on euro and Swiss franc. That euro news out of Germany, really strong. The UK here had some bad economic news, and you can see that the pound paid for it, but it's just right back down into its range. I don't see any reason at all to play range-bound things. Speaking of range-bound, here we have the CAD, totally range-bound here. Until we break out to the upside or downside, I am on the sidelines with the CAD. Aussie Kiwi have been having some pullbacks. They've been really strong. I mean, take a look at all of this strength for all of September. And now we're getting up to a point where we're starting to see, again, the EMA turn, the parabolic sellers turn. We got RSI below 50 for the first time, since August 22nd. Okay, we're getting a pullback, but it's not a horrible pullback. This is a really nice gradual pullback that's relieving some of the excitement that's been happening. I think you buy this pullback, but I don't think it's done yet. Same thing with the Kiwi. I do like the Aussie a little bit better than the Kiwi. I think it's just had a better run, a more smooth run. But same thing. Look at this pullback. It is the most mild pullback you've ever seen, just relieving some of that pressure that builds when you have a big run. I like both of these, but when do I like them? Not here right now. Bitcoin looks good. Bitcoin looks good here. It's going to have some little resistance here. I like Bitcoin up to 118. I think 118,000 is very doable here. But remember, these are going to be highly correlated to the FANG stocks. Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Nvidia, all that stuff, Google. Very highly correlated right now to these. So whatever happens to those is going to happen to crypto. And you can see when you take a look through all the charts, Bitcoin's really the only one you want to be in right now as far as the price action goes. Here we have them racked and stacked up against each other. Swiss franc, euro look really strong. Bitcoin looks strong. And dollar and pound look weak. Everything else to me, not even interested in playing them. I think euro dollar, I think Swiss franc dollar, I think pound dollar also looks good, especially if the dollar strengthens. If the dollar strengthens after the FOMC meeting, this is the pairing I'm looking at. The pound is the second weakest currency. They got a bad claimant count change. They're going to have a CPI report overnight. Pound dollar is something that I'm going to be looking at if the dollar strengthens. If the dollar continues to weaken, it's a really easy trade. Euro dollar, dollar Swiss franc. So let's take a look at that. Obviously, we look at euro versus Swiss franc. You can see the euro is weakened a bit. Swiss franc has been a little stronger, but as you can see here, pretty much all equal. So for me, right now, technically Swiss franc is stronger. So the pairing would be dollar Swiss franc. You can see here, already had some big moves. Likely going to get a bounce around this area. Would love to see a bounce overnight in dollar Swiss franc and then be able to sell that if the dollar weakens. My best guess to what the Fed meeting does, I actually think the dollar strengthens after the Fed meeting. I do think the Fed is going to give us a real in the middle. In the middle, like, yes, there could be more cuts, but we are going to be very data dependent and we're not looking at any cuts in the near future. I think they're going to try to give the market both of those. That, hey, we're not going to cut next meeting, but we could after that. I think that's going to be what they're going to try to thread the needle. And because of that, I think the market has priced in the dollar a little bit too weak. So for me, I do like pound dollar here, but it's going to be a reversal. It's going to be a reversal. I'm just looking at dollar strengthening. What's my next weakest currency? It's the pound. This is definitely counter trend. So I'm not looking to place it before the announcement. I'm looking to place it after the announcement if I see the dollar strengthen. And you can see here, 136.20 is a pretty big little level here. Once we break down below the EMA, below the parabolic stars, I think it's going to be a better entry probably right down here at 136. So that's going to be the point I'm looking for, is 136 on pound dollar if dollar strengthens after FOMC. We do have two central bank meetings over the next 24 hours. Dollar and CAD will be in play in those. I'm not looking to play the CAD because it's sub range bound, but it might be a decent play after Bank of Canada. We'll have to wait and see. Expect there to be high volatility tomorrow. Expect it, especially in dollar and in euro and in Swiss franc and in yen. I think the rest of the currencies are just kind of floating around. I think that's where all the action is going to be tomorrow, so that's where I'm looking to play. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. Remember, Ankit is going to be doing a live currency room tomorrow, right before the FOMC meeting. So if you can make it, jump in with him live. We'll be talking about specific trades at that meeting. Goodbye, everyone.